Please tell me the weather is not going to be like it is today in the Finger Lakes. About 53 degrees, a little rain action. Welcome to Weber This Week on a Monday morning, the 22nd of September, 2014. You know, I've done probably thousands of interviews in my career on the broadcasting side of this business. I'm not sure I ever interviewed a good friend who's playing actual golf as we speak. Kevin Nicholson, Seneca Falls boy, doing well down in Pennsylvania. Kevin, good morning, welcome, and I hope that shot you're getting ready to hit is spectacular.
Hey, good morning, Harold. How are you?
I'm doing good, Kevin. So, Kevin, you're playing a tournament this morning. Where are you at right now? In the second fairway? I like that.
I'm just about to get to the second green here, so.
Well, that's good.
Apologize about the wind. It's just another typical windy Monday here at Makefield Highlands. So
you got any rain down there?
No, it's just beautiful. Just windy.
Nice.
Yeah, we're up on one of the highest points of the county here, about 35 minutes north of Center City, Philadelphia. So
that's awesome.
It's a little windy out here this morning.
Well, let me give a brief review of yourself. You and me have been longtime friends. Let's give a little background of when you graduated from Miners Academy and where it took you after you left school.
Well, I had an opportunity back in the early spring of 2001 to get into the golf business, and wound up getting a job at the Hershey Country Club, which is where it is, Chocolatetown, USA.
Yep.
I was there for 2.5 years and really developed my continuing love for the game of golf, and been in the business now for 14 years and loving every minute of it.
Now, how long have you been at Makefield Highlands? Of course, it's located in Yardley, Pennsylvania. I understand your promo down there. Your business card says redefining public golf. Give us a little view of your operation there, and what does that mean, and what do you try to do for people? You obviously want to make them feel comfortable when they come in to play a little golf.
Well, basically what it is we have our golf course, our facilities, again, about 35 minutes north of Center City, Philadelphia. We are a 10-year-old facility. We're all the professionals on our staff come from high-end private golf courses here in the Philadelphia area. So, and if you can give me 1 minute, it's my turn. So hang on 1 second. I apologize.
You take your time. We'll take a break. I love this. Kevin Nicholson getting ready to hit a golf shot. Now, is the second hole a par 5 or a par 4?
Oh, I think he's going to be hitting. He's hitting.
Right.
He's over the ball right now.
I like that. This is kind of interesting. All right.
I wish we were on the course.
I know. I'm scheduled to play this afternoon when it gets hopefully a little warmer here in the Finger Lakes. But Kevin is involved in a tournament. Kevin Nicholson, our special guest via phone from Yardley, Pennsylvania. He's a PGA professional down there. And, of course, the golf course that he works at is Makefield Highlands. And I've done a lot of interviews. I'm not so sure I've ever done one with an individual who's actually playing a round of golf live here on Weber This Week. And Kevin will be back joining us in a second after he hits a shot. And unlike me, I'm sure the shot he hits will be either on the green or toward the pin.
Now, I've played a lot of golf with Kevin over the years, and the one thing about his game is that he's got one of the best natural turns on the ball, like the sequence, and he just kills it. He's not a big guy, but he just kills it. And he was also a really good baseball player.
Right, I know
and the same type of principle, just a great timing on when he turns on the pitch, and he just hits it, a lot farther than you think he would.
Does that swing impress you like Brad Jones' swing does to you? I know you've watched Brad.
They're very similar. Yeah.
Okay, well, I play with Brad this afternoon, him and John King. So we'll get back talking to Kevin, and this is Weber This Week on a Monday morning. A little rain, a little misty. It looked like a little British weather this morning here in the Finger Lakes, but we expect it to clear. It's not going to be real warm. They're talking like mid-50s. And then, of course, the good news is it's supposed to turn really nice tomorrow. And basically for the rest of the week, we're talking in the 70s by the weekend. So that's a good sign, too, Jim.
Oh, it's the best time of year when you get, into September and the heat and humidity's gone. And then but the temperatures remain comfortable for a stretch and the leaves start to change. And, yeah, it's a good time here, fall in the Finger Lakes.
All right. Well, we're waiting for Kevin to hit his shot.
Back with you guys.
How was the shot, Kevin? Tell us. Is it about 6 feet away or what?
Well, I got it up and down for par, so.
That's good. Well, Kevin, you talked about Makefield Highlands and the fact that you got the professionals working down there. Certainly, your goal. Obviously, you've been there a while. As you look forward,
This is my second season, and
I was going to say.
I am the head assistant here. We have legitimately about 30, almost 45 years of experience, professional staff here. And again, all of us have come from high-end private clubs in and around the Philadelphia area. So what we try to do, Redefine Public Golf, is we try to bring that private country club experience to the public. We are totally municipal. For 18-hole Northeast Golf Course, we do about 43,000 rounds a year. So
wow,
we're pretty busy.
And you guys stay open year-round, Kevin, right?
Say again, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
You guys stay open in the winter too, right? You're available to play your course in the winter, providing the weather's decent.
Providing the weather is halfway decent, which last winter, unfortunately, it was not.
No, I know that.
We got a little bit of the upstate New York down here in the Delaware Valley, but no, we can do it generally. I'd say about low 40s, mid 40s here in December and February. January we can get a little tough, but we'll stay open. I mean, these guys, 20. I think one last fall in November, if I remember correctly. I think it was like 23 degrees, and I actually did 65 rounds of golf. So,
oh my God,
these people are golf hungry up here.
How many members does Makefield Highlands have?
We have 0 members.
Oh, okay. It's not membership. Okay.
We're a totally municipal facility. It's owned by the township here in the Yardley area.
Okay.
And, we do on the weekends average anywhere between 280 and 300 rounds on the weekend.
Wow.
And we get everybody around in 4.5 hours. I know slow play is an issue
wow.
at most clubs, and at 10-minute intervals, we've come to figure out that we can get a group of people around and get the 280 to 300 on the weekend and not have any issues as far as time is concerned.
And I bet you have some rangers driving around making sure they keep up the pace, right?
Oh, yeah. I actually got we have a 25-person Philadelphia PGA assistance event right now that I'm actually playing in, and we actually have about 60, 70 other public play out here. So we're rocking and rolling on a Monday in September.
Wow.
That's awesome. Well, listen, certainly Kevin Nicholson's our special guest. He's actually playing a round of golf. He is playing out of Makefield Highlands, where he's a PGA professional. And, of course, Kevin, an outstanding athlete here at Seneca Falls, graduate of Miners Academy, doing very well for himself. Kevin, I would be remiss, and I know I want to get you off the air so you can get back to playing with your partners, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask you your feelings. Are the Americans ever going to beat the Euros in the Ryder Cup, A? And do you think it'll ever happen on foreign soil, which takes place, as you know, coming up this week starting on Friday morning? What's your feeling on the Ryder Cup? It looks to me on paper it could be another landslide victory for the Euros.
I think our boys will the underdog role.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Oh, baby.
Obviously, they have the number one player in the world. There we go ahead and hit. They obviously have the number one player in the world in Rory, kind of the new face of the game. And but, there's something about Tom Watson in Scotland, I think, to get along pretty well. So
we'll see.
I won't give you an outcome, but I think our boys got a pretty good chance.
And let me give you one more question to give your thoughts on. Tiger Woods, is he ever going to come back to where he used to be, or do you feel that his tank is empty and with all of his injuries, and now he went through coaches, and his Sean Foley's the latest to be executed? What's your feeling on Woods? Does he get healthy again? Does he come back and become a factor?
If he gets healthy, Harold, I think sky's the limit with his talent, his mind. I mean, he pushes the needle in our game. As he goes, our game goes. And the fact of the matter is he's the Pied Piper, and if he's doing well, our game thrives. So if he gets healthy and figures out what he's going to do with his golf swing, I think he's going to be in. I think he'll be back to challenge Rory and get his number one ranking back.
Very good. Well, Kev, we'll let you go, buddy. Next time you're in town, we'll do a full interview here in the studio, in the warm confines of our studio. We appreciate you taking 7 or 8 minutes with us this morning, and enjoy your round of golf.
Thanks, Harold. Good talking to you, Jimmy. We'll see you, boys.
Thanks,
right.
Kev. Good luck.
Kevin Nicholson, outstanding athlete, good friend of ours here at FingerLakes1.com. And, of course, I tell you what, that could be a first. I don't think I've ever done an interview with anybody actually playing around the golf. This could be number one. And I've done a lot of interviews in my career, so we want to thank Kevin for spending some time. Local boy does well. And, of course, Jimmy's been a longtime friend of Kevin. And like I say, Jimmy gives him obviously can play as well. And he certainly, when he talks about Kevin's swing that he's got, Jimmy, as you pointed out, a great turn, right, into the ball?
Yeah, he actually came home, Seneca Falls.
Yep.
Maybe it was June. I can't quite remember. It wasn't too long ago. And I played 18 holes with him, and he I think he shot 32 on the front 9.
Wow.
Something like that. And he didn't do so well on the back.
Yeah.
But, he's, like I said, it's amazing to watch his swing because the timing and his turn on the ball, he just kills it. Farther than anyone that I've ever played with.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's impressive. Well, we want to thank Kevin Nicholson for taking time off for an abbreviated interview this morning. But again, when he gets back into town to visit his parents, certainly we'll have him in for a full show and talk more about him and what his goals are in life. So, hey, we got lots to talk about here. We got tons of topics. How about the Bills? Hey, I've been hearing it Reds. Hey, go Bills. I've been hearing it Dewey's. Hey, go Bills. I don't hear that this morning. I don't know why. Maybe it's because San Diego came in and snake bit them. How about Syracuse? Statistically, they should have beat Maryland. Maryland had lost to Syracuse 5 straight times. They lose at the Dome. Get Jimmy, a graduate of SU, his view on them. Prepping for the big showdown Saturday night. The Irish of Notre Dame against Syracuse at MetLife Stadium. A ton of stuff to talk about. We'll come back after we hear from our great sponsors. Eagle Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Bob and Leslie Oman, owners of the Oman Theater in Lions, as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. Lizard's Tailgater Lounge, Waterloo, best mott sticks around, where you can enjoy a drink and some laughs. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com, awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan. Home of the toughest par 4 in central New York. Wilson Press, wpress.com. Seneca Falls. Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Rich Ricky, Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. And, of course, we welcome you back to Weber This Week. The dog with you here on a Monday. A little drizzly out there, a little cool, but, hey, a reminder, an upcoming guest for the show. Next week, we'll have a couple of our good friends coming in. Longtime friend of mine, John Capacci. And, of course, a gentleman needs no introduction, Rod Verke. Why are they coming in? They're both on the committee of the Miners Academy Hall of Fame, which that ceremony takes place in October at the New York Chiropractic College. Both John and Rod will be gracing us on the couch next week to talk about this year's inductees, a little background, a little bio on each of them, and why they've been selected to represent Miners Academy in the very prestigious Hall of Fame. So they'll be here next week, and we are working on a show to bring in a representative from the St. Anthony's Festival, as we all know, because of the horrible conditions and all the wetness and the rain and the ground condition. They had to postpone and suspend and delay obviously the Labor Day, which has been their normal date for a zillion years. But they're going to do it Columbus Day weekend, starting on the 10th of October, Jimmy. Yeah. And I know you, frequent supporter. I know your mom's heavily involved. Your dad does a lot of work there as well. Me and Mary look forward to visiting there and having some nice Italian food. And I guess everybody's pumped up to have the reschedule take place.
So if the weather's good, and if it is, I think it'll be really cool. You know, Labor Day weekend's kind of busy, end of summer. Everybody's going back to school the next week.
Right.
Columbus Day weekend, an Italian holiday, Columbus Day.
Sure.
It seems like it might be a really nice fit. So if the weather's good, I think it'll be just a lot of fun, fantastic
Well, Jimmy's going to make some calls to try to line up somebody since his mom and dad are heavily involved in helping out that cause. We hope to get somebody here to talk about the St. Anthony's Festival. That would be on October the 6th. We're also working on two good friends of mine, Kevin and Alan Reeder, the owners and president and head people of the Bellhurst Castle. I have a long history associated with that fine, fabulous place up in Geneva, New York. I guess it's world class. People come from all over the country and literally outside the country to go to the Bellhurst Castle. And so, we all know what the castle brings to us and the area, but we want to get the folks that run the operation. Kevin and Alan Reeder will be in the studios sometime, hopefully middle to late October. Kevin's got a small little procedure he's got to work on, I think, with his foot, but we hope to get that booked, and they've been guaranteeing us that they'll come in and talk about the castle, which will be an interesting show. And by the way, they have an outstanding spa, and they got a fabulous, tons of things to offer people up in Geneva, New York. And yeah, I guess since I live here, and even though I've had events at the castle, it's kind of, geez, you drive by there and go, wow, it's pretty impressive. And so we're looking forward to that show as well. And we'll have more guests as we continue on the last quarter of 2014. If you'd like to come on the show, by the way, as we're talking about guests, please let us know. We've had, as you know, all kinds of topics. We had the paranormal guys on last week. Kevin Nicholson this morning. We had the Lunatics on, roller derby team. So anything is really on the table. As long as you keep it clean on the air, we'll be more than glad to talk to you. If you want to publicize an event, if you want to talk about an accomplishment of a bunch of kids, let us know. We'll set up a date and have you come in.
Email us at contact@fingerlakes1.com and put the subject line as Weber.
Exactly. So anyways, if you'd like to come on our program, the door is always open. We'll roll out the red carpet. We'll leave the couch for you and your. We have 2 people as our maximum to come into the studio, by the way. So if you'd like to come in, we can't bring in 6 or 8 people. So 2 people, but we'd love to have you come in and talk about your topic. So let us know if you'd like to come in. It's not a nerve-wracking. I won't bite you and I won't make you embarrassed. And these cameras don't bother anybody. So just come in and be a part of our show. That's Weber this week. Well, Jimmy, of course, you'll be an SU grad. I know you started off 2-0, and, of course, you get the Maryland Terrapins, a team that obviously is hard for me to fathom. They're a member of the Big Ten. That's hard for me to understand. SU dominated them statistically, but loses the game. I know you didn't have a great Saturday checking that one out.
Yeah, to watch us really play well on offense and defense and lose the game, but it was very frustrating. A couple big plays. They had one screen pass that went for 80 yards and a block punt, and that was kind of the difference. And of course, it's really disappointing because it would have set up a matchup in New York City on Saturday night between undefeated Syracuse and undefeated Notre Dame, but it didn't happen. And now we're 2 touchdown underdogs to Notre Dame, and I tell you what, I like the Cuse in this one.
Well, I think you're right. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be prime time, 8 o'clock, ABC, Saturday night. The Orange, I was impressed with their running game, and I'm impressed with their quarterback.
Hunt's great.
I think, and switching topics from down there in Syracuse, let's go west to Buffalo. Of course, the Bills 2-0 going in against San Diego. And, of course, West Coast teams to East Coast, games at 1 o'clock. Usually it's a big advantage for the home team, let alone they were 2-0, the Bills. And the Bills just self-imploded. They just, again, had flashes of brilliance, but overall, give Rivers credit. They got an outstanding offensive squad. Their defense played good. And, again, I'm not criticizing E.J. Manuel, but he made a couple of plays yesterday which – they're third-grade maneuvers, like with the time you went back in the pocket into the end zone and the rush came into him, well as I know, if you follow football, you can go to the right, you can go to the left and throw it out of bounds, but you can't stay in the pocket, especially when you're in the end zone. And, of course, they flagged him. Safety, goodbye. Good night, Irene. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, Bills. Now they're 2-1. They travel to Houston next week.
And it's hard to gauge, exactly where they are because San Diego last week beat Seattle.
Exactly.
Defending Super Bowl champs who beat Denver yesterday.
I agree.
And then they come all the way east and are able to beat the Bills at home. And there was a big-time atmosphere at the Ralph.
There was. By the way, I was telling Jimmy a stat, which I never knew. I obviously heard it on the network yesterday. Teams coming west to east don't normally do very well. The team with the best record since 2004 is the San Diego Chargers. 18 up, 18 down. You say, well, that's no big deal. Oh, yes, it is. When you're traveling east or west to east.
Time zone change and everything.
Yeah, especially a 1 o'clock start. That's pretty amazing. So credit the Chargers. They came in. They were focused. They won the game. And
full
big
control all game.
They basically had to control that game. By the way, switching subjects now to baseball, of course, the Derek Jeter Express is coming to an end. Outstanding athlete. What can you say about Derek Jeter? Fabulous, fabulous player. First-round Hall of Famer. Just for you Yankee fans, I certainly don't have to give you the dates and times. His last home game will be this Thursday night, the 25th of September, against the O's. That's his last home game at Yankee Stadium. It'll be on TV, obviously. I think it'll be on the Yes Network. But again, if you want to DVR that, that's a collector's item. Last home game. If you really want to, DVR something, the 28th, which is next Sunday, in Boston, they end with a 3-game series. Their season is over, obviously. They're not going to make the playoffs. That is a 1:35 game. So, again, DVR that. Again, these are Derek Jeter moments, which I'm sure you'd want to keep forever. In my mind, and I think Jim would agree with me, along with Mariano Rivera, two guys, Jimmy, that have never, ever, ever soiled their reputation. Two class individuals, very charitable giving, outstanding. Mario Rivera, what do I need to say? Best reliever ever in the game of baseball. Derek Jeter. Do we want to look at stats for this guy? I mean, phenomenal. And what I love about Jeter, he's a classy individual. You never hear him. Oh, they show his picture on the Enquirer, maybe dating some girl because they're rags or going to come up with some news. But that guy never hit the news for anything bad, Jim, and it's a pretty good testimony. An outstanding individual.
Genuine, what you see is what you get, I think. I don't think it's an act. I don't think it's some type of facade. I think he's genuinely
great guy.
What you see is what you get.
Yep.
And shortstop for the Yankees, too, is something kind of mythical. And to hold that spot for that many years. And also with Jeter, we're about the same age. I think I'm a year or two older than him. But
phenomenal.
It's kind of sad.
It is. That
it shows, my age and, I'm getting older. And
yeah. When you get to be the dog's age, you really feel old. But about Jeter,
So you must have been upset when Tris Speaker and Ty Cobb retired. It must have been like the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I still have those films home, black and white. But, I think about Jeter, and I'm thinking ahead now that he's going to retire. Obviously, he's done. And, of course, in a few years, he'll be eligible for the Hall of Fame, which he's going to get in. But what really irritates me, and I'm telling you this beforehand, if I'm still alive in a few years when the ballot takes place, there's going to be a couple of wacko, old, senile, Alzheimer individuals who are baseball writers that are not going to vote for him in the first round. I don't know why people do that. I don't know why some baseball writers feel obligated to not vote for a surefire individual in the first round. I know, Jimmy, and I hope I'm alive. God willing, I hope I'm alive. I would take those old, senile, Alzheimer individuals that do not vote for him in the first round, along with Mariano Rivera, I might add. They should just be thrown over a bridge. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. He should get unanimous along with Rivera. It won't happen because there's always a couple of idiots, and I call them idiots because they're old and senile. I'm old, but I hope I'm not senile. And it really irritates me because I know what's going to happen. And, Jimmy, I'm going to go ballistic when I hear they didn't get a unanimous vote. How do you not vote for those two guys to be in the first round?
Some of those people might think, well, geez, they had the power of the Yankees behind them. That's the only reason that they did so well. But, those Yankees teams were special. And growing up a Yankees fan in the 80s when Don Mattingly and Dave Winfield and Tommy John were there and Ron, they weren't very good. They didn't win.
I know.
I can remember when Seattle beat the Yankees in the 5-game series in one of Mattingly's last years. But then you got the group of Pettit, Posada, Rivera, and Jeter. And, they had a nice run, one of the best runs in Yankees history. And so I don't, the Yankees, sure, they always were able to bring in a lot of talent with a high payroll, but that's not always the key to a win in baseball.
No.
That formula has also not worked for the Yankees a few times as of late.
This year, their pitching staff was decimated. They had a lot of injuries. Teixeira, Beltran, go on and on and on, but everybody else has problems too. Nobody cares. The Yankees got a $240 million payroll, and they're not going to make the playoffs. That sickens the Steinbrenner family. I'm sure you'll hear more about that. But as I end my show this morning, I was waiting for a couple-minute commentary that I've been waiting to say, and that deals with an athlete who has tremendous skill sets, but he's dumber than a rock. Jameis Winston, Florida State. To me, folks, having followed sports since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, started following sports when I was about 7. That was 62 years ago, if you're keeping track. Here's an individual who, God forsake, has the God-forsaken abilities to be an outstanding, powerful quarterback, and he's not a dumb kid academically. But for what you see of this individual and for what this individual has done, we all make mistakes. When you're a kid, you make a mistake, you get disciplined by your parents. When you make stupid decisions as you get older, you might end up in jail for a few days to cool off. Ladies and gentlemen, as you look at this Jameis Winston, this outstanding talent, where most people in this world would want 60% of his natural talent, what does he do? Let's go through the list quickly. Sexual assault charges, big deal in Florida State, Tallahassee. Well, wait a minute. Everybody's enraged. He sexually assaulted a woman. The DA looks at it, decides there's not enough evidence to pursue it. You know and I know there was something there. Then let's talk about the time that him and his 3 buddies walk into a seafood store. They walk out with 7 pounds of crab legs. Oh, they forgot one thing. They forgot to pay for it. Then, of course, we find out he was in a department store a few months ago. There's just happened to be a few items shown on the camera as he's leaving with his buddy that, again, he didn't pay for. Then, of course, we find out about him at a Union Hall at Florida State. The guy's a celebrity. Other students idolize this guy. They ask for his autograph. Heisman Trophy winner, national champion winner. Why can't he be cool? Oh, no. He's got to jump up on a table and use profanity, insulting the women in surrounding conditions. Are you serious? And the really tops it off, folks, is the DA, the general manager and the president and the top chiefs of Florida State, Jimbo Fisher, says, well, we'll set him down for the first half against Clemson. Those 2 idiots finally say, well, no, that's not enough punishment. Make it a full game. A full game. So leading up to the game on Saturday night, we were told that Jameis was told by all of the media people, stay away from the stadium. Stay away. You're going to be a bad influence. What do you see? You see him with his pads on, walking
full
out,
uniform, as if
full
he was going to
uniform,
play, doing warm-ups.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're 7 or 70 watching me ramble on about this, what the hell is he thinking about? What does Fisher look at him? You idiot! Go back in the locker room. Take off your pads.
I don't draft him if I'm an NFL
Here
team.
he comes back out. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry. This kid is badass.
I don't draft him.
Bad apple. Doesn't deserve 1 dime. He's going to make a lot of money if he doesn't end up in Attica in the next few years. I'm telling you, folks, this guy is a wacko. And I end my show by saying it reminds me of my famous comedian Ron White, who does a world-class tour, and I love Ron White. If you ever hear his name on TV or see it on his comedy show, check him out. He's the funniest guy in the world. He did a tour 6 years ago. I followed it every step of the way. You know what the tour was named? You Can't Fix Stupid. Take care, everybody. We'll catch you next week for Rod Verke and Johnny Capacci as we talk Miners Academy Hall of Fame. Enjoy your week, everybody. That's the dog. See ya.
By becoming a patron of FingerLakes1.com. Visit patreon.com/FL1.